I pressed the wrong button. I pressed finish instead of turning it back to me. So Anna, you were live with me here, so hopefully you can join me again. All right, so to recap, I might be busy, but I don't always keep everything under control. Yes, I'm organized, but I also drop the ball. And hi, Anna, welcome back again. I pressed the wrong button. Hi, Mark, welcome back. Mark, you've just joining us. What I've done is I actually everyone my untidy desk here at home, which is PPS Q, and it's actually fairly embarrassing for me to admit. I'm just going to walk out here because I do have the kids home and they're going to come running down the stairs any moment. So I'm going to go find a quiet spot out here. It's really hard to admit. Anna says, I'm going to share my mess with you after this. Awesome! I won't feel so alone. It's really hard to admit that, you know, sometimes your place looks like that. Where can I have a seat? Let me just walk down here, because although I'm good with multitasking, I don't want to fall over something, because there's always a ball or kids' toys or stuff lying around here as well. So let me have a seat here. And I've got my water. Yes, so hi Cherie, thanks for joining. Cherie, you just missed the traumatic part of the video where I showed everyone my messy desk in PPS HQ, which is my home office. And it was really hard for me in the start, having to tolerate a desk like that. If I had my way, I would be able to clean it all nice up before I start my weekend, you know, put a nice little bow around it so that I can switch off from it, let it go and focus on, you know, family and doing other stuff over this weekend. The even more ideal would be if I'm able to do that every day. If at the end of every day I would be able to, you know, tidy up the desk, make everything neat, do some filing, get everything in order, and I guess that's the ideal, but I find it doesn't happen very often to me. It feels like I'm often running out of time to do all of those tidying up type of things, because I find myself maybe, you know, answering another phone call or spending another 10 minutes on the phone with a practice owner or writing another response in our Facebook groups. I'd rather be doing stuff like that, which is my passion and stuff that I enjoy doing, rather than tidying up my desk. That being said, I do make the time to get it done. Okay, I can only tolerate so much. I have done the MMPI when I actually went for my master's selection process back in South Africa. Hi Sally, thanks for joining. It was a very rigorous selection process, and we had to sit through the whole MMPI, and I've repeated it subsequently again, and I've consistently been a very strong J on the MMPI. So I'm sure if you're a psychologist, you will know what that's all about, but I know a lot of you aren't. So the MMPI really looks at your personality across various scales. One scale, for example, is whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. I'm an introvert. And then the other scale that I'm referring to is either you're a P or you're a J. So a J is somebody that's very organized, everything has its place, you know, everything's neat and tidy. If you're a P, it again means that, you know, everything is just anywhere. And I know I had a professor at uni that was a P. She was such a clever woman. So by the way, there's no correlation between being disorganized and unintelligent. She was extremely intelligent, but you would walk into her office and you would literally, when you're going for supervision, you would literally have to step over books, piles of books, and you know, stuff just lying around everywhere, and find a little spot to sit on and talk to her. But she knew where everything was in that organized chaos. When I looked at it, it was like, oh my God, this would drive me literally insane if this was my office. And that for her was just how she was. Cherie says she's a P. I think P's are very fortunate. I think you guys have got less stuff to stress about, because J's tend to stress when things aren't organized. And I guess over the years, having had 3 kids, having to juggle that with having to juggle a business, my J has had to learn to be very resilient and has had to learn to deal with a lot of organized chaos. Sally says she's a P as well. Of course you are, Sally. You are the she-monk. Oh, awesome. Thank you for sharing that, guys. And yeah, so I would be very interested to see if I do the MMPI now, whether that would have changed. I highly doubt it, because I still like things organized. I'm just so much better now at accepting that very often it is not. And it doesn't matter how much I try and get control over certain things, that it's just not going to happen. And really coming back to the point that a lot of times when there is chaos around me, even as a J, that I still choose to have that chaos. So if I choose to spend an extra 10 minutes on the phone with a practice owner instead of using that to tidy up my desk before I get the kids from school, you know, I'm going to have organized chaos. And that's okay, but that is a choice that I make. Mark said doubt it also. Yes, I totally agree with you, Mark. So it is really about that coping, getting more and more resilience with dealing with stuff when it doesn't go the way you would like it to be, or the way that your personality likes stuff to be. And I think very often as a business owner, and especially as an entrepreneur, we probably have a lot of irons in the fire, and you're doing like 100,000 things at once. You've got different ideas and projects coming through your mind. You need to learn to manage and deal with some level of chaos. Okay, because it's always going to be there in business. And if you're going to want to have a business or a private practice for that matter, considering that's what I am in, and you just expect everything to be hunky-dory and organized, you're going to be very disappointed. And it's really also learning that when there is chaos, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a failure or that you failed at something. All right, it just means that that's what's happening right now, and that's what needs to be going on until, you know, something else is in place, or because there's really exciting things that's happening all around you. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for joining me. Let me just have some water. I talk so much. Yes, so Michelle, we've just been talking about the MMPI, the fact that I'm a J, that I like to be organized, but it doesn't always happen, and having to learn to deal with that chaos. All right, so that being said, and before I continue with that, in terms of, you know, the chaos that I'm talking about now today is related to, you know, my home office. And you guys might be thinking, how does that relate to the private practice? So I actually had a chat with my principal psychologist earlier today, and we are expecting a lot of chaos next week, actually, at the Psych Professionals. Don't tell anyone, although we're live on Facebook. So we actually are short of some admin team members next week. We've got people away and all of that type of stuff, and we're gonna have some organized chaos next week because we are very, very busy. We've got like up to 30 or more clients coming through the practice doors every day. Payments need to be taken, all of that type of stuff. Earlier today around about 1:30, I was on the phone, myself, Frankie, we did a group phone call with a company that does virtual answering services for psychology and allied health private practices. And the reason why I was doing it, because I have my own admin team at the practice, of course, is because people are constantly asking me, Gerda, can you recommend someone? And I will never recommend someone unless I know them personally, or I've personally made use of their services. Because if I recommend someone or something, you can bet your bottom dollar that they know what they're doing, or I won't be doing that. So I was basically just doing research for the private practice success part of my job, but I got Frankie on the phone call and said, you know, you in the practice day-to-day basis, what is this type of questions that practice owners will have about a virtual answering service? Because a lot of people can't automatically go from being in solo private practice or maybe even having a group private practice but having no admin to now employing people full-time. That's a pretty big leap, and for a lot of people, you know, can do it, but a lot of people can't do it, and they want to do something interim, which is why I'm doing this research to find out, you know, what is out there, what could be recommended to people. And it was interesting when we started talking money and packages, how much it costs, all of that stuff. The lady said that, you know, for 150 phone calls a month, it is something like X amount. It was something between $200 and $300. And I'm thinking 150 phone calls a month, we get way more than that. We probably get 400 phone calls per practice, which would be 800 phone calls in our instance, and of course that is still a guesstimate. We don't know for sure, but it just also made me realize the enormity of, you know, what happens at the front desk, and probably in terms of what an interesting and challenging week we're going to have next week whilst we're short of admin staff. But of course it also then comes back to knowing that that's the week ahead. Luckily it's only a 4-day working week, and really getting the team to know what's going on and getting everybody to work together, whether it's the admin people that we do have there, whether it's clinician team that we do have there, to get through the week and get to the other side. And you know what, it always happens. Even though you expect that chaos, you know it's going to be there, it is okay at the end of the day. And it's the same with chaos in all other areas of your life. So it's really about learning to tolerate it and then problem solving it. Let me just look at some comments. Cherie says, I get excited by the chaos. Lets me know things are happening. What an awesome reframe on it, Cherie. What an awesome reframe. You know, I often tell people as well, having a long to-do list means that you've got a lot of work. You know, you have stuff to do. It means that you've got a life by having a to-do list, which is a positive thing. Anna says, I'm learning to take the highs as a blessing and the lows as a learning. I love that. Oh, you should make a quote out of that, Anna, and put that on a nice image and share that on your Instagram. Yeah, thank you for sharing all of that. Let's just have a look here. Oh, it says Facebook is telling me this is your most commented on live video yet. Can that be Facebook? I would be very impressed. And of course, this live video happened in 2 sections because I did the one and then I pressed the wrong button and I had to start all over again. And I was laughing. Yes, so this J in me are gonna have to go and sort out that desk at some point over the weekend, and I'll make a time when it suits me and when I feel like it, because I know it will still be alright when I get back there. So that is what I wanted to share with you guys as well. I hope you had a super week. Please continue this conversation here. Please keep on asking questions and commenting. For those of you that have reached out to me already, I think you'll remember last week Friday. It's very interesting. It was last week Friday, I suspect. I did a live stream about managing your ever-growing to-do list once and for all. And then I on an impromptu, unplanned basis, because I was thinking about it for the 6 hours prior, then just decided to announce that I'm doing a Get It Done retreat. And on Monday this week I actually went out and I found a venue. So for those that's already messaged me, I will be in contact with you to give you some more details. If there's anybody else interested in attending a Get It Done retreat, please message me on Facebook, or you're more than happy to email me. If you've got my email, it's gerda@private-practice-success.com. It is a 3-day retreat, and you know, 3 days might sound like a lot of time away from the practice or a lot of time away from home, but I've been on many retreats. I consistently invest in my own knowledge and skills, and I find that it is the magical number 2 was too little, 4 was too long, and I really want people to be able to walk away not feeling like, oh, that was awesome, but I didn't get everything done that I wanted to. I want them to walk away feeling like a superstar and going, that was absolutely bloody amazing. It's the best thing I've ever done, because I walk away feeling so much lighter, feeling like this weight has been lifted off my shoulder and I've done all the stuff. And not only did I get it done, I got it done together with a room full of other private practice owners, and I've established connections and relationships that's going to continue even after that, and I feel inspired and excited to take my practice to that next level. That is really my vision and my goal for this Get It Done retreat. But I'm happy, I haven't even put anything in writing as yet in terms of what's involved in it. I'm going to do that still, but if you message me and you let me know, you'll be the first to know, because there will be very, very limited places, and it is in June. So I'll keep you up to date with that, because, you know, when I think about life in general, it's very chaotic. Yes, we need to learn to cope with it, but it just feels so good being able to take time out of that, to really look after yourself, to reset, to get up to date, to get re-inspired, to keep on doing what we need to do every day as business owners and as clinicians as well. So have a fantastic Friday night. Of course, I'll speak to you again tomorrow, because this is part of my 90-day vlog challenge. And I suspect I need to guess that today is day 35 or 36. I'm not 100% sure. But as always, guys, remember, all you need to do is say yes to your very own ultimate level 5 private practice. And I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Bye.